Welcome back to the Premier League show. Now, as we head towards the end of the year, the January transfer window looms, and this man behind us is going to be in demand. Now, Sky Sports News understands that Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo has a release clause that stands at £60 million with £5 million in add-ons. This becomes active in January 2026, but only up to a certain date during the window. That date has not been made public. It drops in the summer of 2026. And we reported last week that Man City, Liverpool and Tottenham are watching the 25-year-old. Semenyo, of course, signed a new 5-year deal in the summer. So, Clinton, 60 plus 5 million in January, a price worth paying for this man?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think Semenyo's an outstanding player, an outstanding individual. I've seen an interview he did recently with Jamie Redknapp. I thought it was fantastic. He's so humble. It looks like he's the same from when he was playing in the Championship, even though he's risen to stardom. And he's exciting. He gets you off your seat. He can go either way. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. He can play through the middle. I think his best position is on the left-hand side. Scored a lot of spectacular goals. So, yeah, I feel like he signed a new contract, but it's always going to be when you're signing that contract, you would have a release clause. I think that happened. I remember Palace doing it with Eze, doing it with Michael Olise. And, you know, this goal he scores here, the second goal at Anfield, he basically brought Bournemouth back into the game. It's a fantastic goal, and I think he's an outstanding player. And, yeah, Bournemouth ain't going to want to lose him, but someone will be willing to pay the 60 million. I don't know if it will happen in January. It might be more the end of the summer because we said Liverpool are interested. Liverpool have already spent a lot of money so far, but it's someone like a Man City or a Tottenham that probably would come and maybe get Semenyo. This is a brilliant goal against Fulham because he has no right to score from it. He just passes it into the bottom of the net. He's such a good player, and that is hard work, dedication. The Bournemouth manager, Iriola, has improved him as well, but you've got to do that yourself as well, and I think he's a fantastic player.
So we mentioned look, these big hitters, interested, City, Liverpool and Tottenham. Which of these sides do you think need him the most?
Ooh, I think Tottenham need him the most, without a shadow of a doubt. I thought he was going to go to Liverpool in the summer. I did think that. I did think the connection with Richard Hughes, obviously going to Liverpool and obviously being at Bournemouth and knowing Semenyo, I did think he would go to Liverpool. I think Man City have a lot of options in them wide areas. They'll probably have to lose a few because he needs to be playing week in, week out. But Tottenham need a wide player like Semenyo. So for me, every team needs him, but I think the most, if I'm looking at it now and thinking to myself, come January, it'd probably be Tottenham that would be looking to pay that money for Semenyo. But listen, Man City and Liverpool, those sort of clubs interested in him. He's doing ever so well. I just like him. I like him as a player. I like his personality. I like the confidence that he has. I know he missed the penalty previously against Aston Villa, but I can guarantee when they get another penalty, he'll take the ball. He's full of confidence, and yeah, I think he's got the world at his feet, and he's at a good age as well.
A lot of people have been talking about that interview that you mentioned that he did with Jamie Redknapp. Really good interview, and you get to see a different side to him.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you like the fact that he's humble, his personality, but when you have speculation as big as this in the middle of the season, can that be a distraction?
No. I don't know, to everyone, to other players it can be, but I don't think it will be to him. I think he knows the job Bournemouth have done to him, and he'll just get on with it and just do it. And what will be, will be. Come January, if something happens, it happens. I think he'll handle it the same way Eze handled his and Mark Gay's handled their situation, where he won't force a move through. I think he'll just get on with it, plays football. Well, I hope he doesn't. Because he seems that type of character that just enjoys playing football. He realises what Bournemouth have done for him, and if something does come in, and they get that release clause, then it's up to him and he's free to go and speak to it. I don't think Bournemouth would, an opportunity of like one of those two clubs come for him, knocking on the door for him, will say, oh no, we're not doing that. They've made big money on him. For what they pay for him and for what they'll get for him, they've made big money, and he's been a big influence on that football club. But he deserves whatever he's going to get in life because, as I said, it's so difficult sometimes when you see footballers doing interviews, you don't see the real them. But when he did that interview with Jamie Redknapp, you saw the real him, and he's just a humble guy, so I wish him all the best.
Well, let's say, for argument's sake, all three come in for him. As a player, what kind of things influence your decision when you've got a choice of clubs and, massive ones at that?
Well, first and foremost, money does talk. And I know people will say that, but it does talk, it does. But that's not the be-all and end-all.
That's not going to be an issue, is it?
That's not going to be an issue with any of those.
So what else comes into it?
It's going to be thinking, who's going to win the Premier League? Who's going to be? I'm a challenger for the Premier League. Who can I be playing Champions League football with at the moment? And where am I going to be playing week in, week out? I want to start. First and foremost, you got to think, I've got to go to the football club and where am I going to be starting and playing. If he goes to Man City, they've got loads of wingers. I do think he believes in himself that he will play, but he could probably be out for a game and then play the next game. You look at Liverpool. Liverpool have a lot of attacking players, but that's one where I think he could go to that left side of Liverpool and make that his own. So, and then also Tottenham. And then you weigh it up, Tottenham or Liverpool. At the moment, you'd probably say who's going to win more things. At this moment in time, you'd probably say it probably would be Liverpool, even though the form's not good, but they've got a lot of good players. Tottenham have good players as well. So he could say to Tottenham, I could go to Tottenham and take them to a different level and be the main man and believe in himself and start week in, week out. So that's a decision that he has to make. But then if he goes to Man City, he is working with one of the best managers who improves players as well, Pep Guardiola. So he might think that. But listen, when you're doing
difficult
what he's doing...
decisions.
And it's good decisions to have, though.
Of course.
And he deserves to have them good decisions for how good he's been for Bournemouth over previous seasons. I think he's been outstanding. And long may it continue. And Bournemouth fans will be shouting at us because we're talking about him.
Not me, they'll be shouting at you.
The reason we're talking about him because how well he's done for Bournemouth. And he has to credit Bournemouth and Iraola for the job that they've done with Semenyo because he's been outstanding.
Antonio Semenyo to Arsenal. He has a £65 million release clause that can be triggered in January. Bournemouth midfielder Antoine Semenyo has a release clause that stands at £60 million with £5 million in add-ons, Sky Sports News understands. Antonio Semenyo deciding future club today with Arsenal, manvhy, Liverpool and Manchester United showing interest. Bournemouth's in-demand talisman, Antoine Semenyo, could make his decision regarding his future club today. The forward is the subject of interest from Manchester City, Liverpool and Manchester United. Semenyo has a release clause of £60.5 million in January, and that will drop to £50 million in the summer, putting his admirers on red alert. The 25-year-old has enjoyed an explosive season, scoring 8 and assisting 3 in the Premier League. His stunning double against Liverpool at Anfield on the opening weekend of the season, in the face of racial abuse, showed what he's capable of at the elite level. And Mikel Arteta described him as a special player after he struck again in Bournemouth's recent 4-4 thriller at Arsenal. Liverpool's need for another forward has been amplified by Alexander Isak's leg injury against Tottenham, which looks set to rule him out long-term. Semenyo primarily plays on the left or right flank for Bournemouth, but he has been known to take on the number 9 role when required. His versatility would prove useful for Arne Slot, who is still experimenting with his team's layout to try and get the most out of his squad after an expensive summer. Liverpool will have money to spend in January, but will also need to weigh up their priorities given their interest in Crystal Palace centre-back Mark Guehi. Arsenal youngsters who could save Gunners millions in the transfer market in 2026. Gunners' Academy has rarely been stronger. The Hale End Academy continues to be a reliable production line for Arsenal. Ethan Nweneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly have now established themselves at first-team level, following in the footsteps of Bukayo Saka. With this the strongest squad Arsenal have had in many, many years, breaking into Mikel Arteta's plans has rarely been this difficult. However, Arsenal once again have an extremely talented crop pushing to get their chance. Here, Standard Sport takes a look at 3 Arsenal youngsters to keep an eye on next year. It's not exactly the bravest of calls to expect Dalman to have a big 2026. There has been huge excitement over Dalman's development for a long time, and his performances on the pitch have done little to slow that down. The 15-year-old made his Premier League debut against Leeds earlier in the season, winning a penalty with some typically quick feet in the box. Dalman has also become the youngest ever goal scorer for the England under-19s. Even in an incredibly deep Arsenal squad, Dalman has made 5 first-team appearances. He will be out for at least another month with an ankle injury, but when he returns, he will hope to be back in the senior squad. Arteta trusts him, insisting the teenager's age is irrelevant. The Spaniard said last month, "That's personality, that's courage, and you cannot teach that. You have it or you don't." and it doesn't matter what his passport says. You throw him in this context and he is able to adapt and have a good performance. Marley Salmon. Salmon made his Arsenal debut in the Champions League this month at the age of 16. Unlike many of the Gunners' most exciting academy prospects in recent seasons who have come in and shown in forward areas, Salmon is a defender. He joined the Arsenal Academy as a 10-year-old and was initially a striker, before he was then turned into a center-back shortly after. Comparisons have been made with William Saliba due to Salmon's calmness on the ball, and his temperament has impressed the Arsenal staff. He is emotionally a really stable boy, and he wants it. It's still very early in his career, but he is a really good prospect, Arteta said. Salmon can also play at right back, where he made his debut against Club Brugge. With Ben White on the sidelines with a hamstring injury and Jurrien Timber needing his minutes managing, Salmon could get his chance for further involvement under Arteta. Luis Muñoz. It would be unrealistic to expect Muñoz to have any first-team involvement in 2026, but the youngster has the talent to generate plenty of noise next year. He came off the bench to feature against Bayern Munich in the UEFA Youth League last month, aged only 13 years, 11 months, and 15 days. Dalman was almost a year older than that when he first featured in the competition. That was a remarkable achievement for Muñoz, and unsurprisingly, he is the youngest player to ever feature in the UEFA Youth League. Now 14, Muñoz primarily plays as an attacking midfielder, but was used as a forward against Bayern. He regularly plays above his age group, with Muñoz primarily involved with the Arsenal U18s this season. The next step is to establish himself with the U18s. Muñoz has been called up to the England U15 squad, but he is also eligible to represent Spain, Jamaica, and Panama.